Cold emailing is one of the best and cheapest ways to generate leads. But there's a better and smarter way to get positive replies even faster by using warm cold emailing. In this video, I will show you how to reveal the identity of your website visitors, filter the ones that are the best match for your business, and how you can reach out to them with cold emailing. All of that with a powerful automated sales workflow. The cool thing about this video is that the key tool of this workflow is entirely free. So make sure to give a like to this video, it helps me a lot and it took me a while to find a free one that you guys can use. I will put in the description all the AI prompts for you to easily replicate this sales workflow. Alright guys, so the first thing you're gonna do is that you're gonna go to Google or click in the link in the description and type vector.co. So Vector is the software we're gonna use to reveal the identity of our anonymous website visitors. So it's a tool that is paid, however, they have such a generous free plan that I never paid for it. So you're gonna click on Get Started, I'm gonna click on Login. And once you arrive on that page, the first thing you have to do is to install the pixel on your website. Essentially, this is how Vector will be able to spot your website visitors. So you need to go to your website builder. For me, it's Framer, but maybe in your case, it will be Webflow or WordPress or whatever. So you just have to copy this and you go to your builder and you copy paste this in the head section. So I'm just gonna show you how, even though it's very, very basic. All right, so this is how it typically looks like. So this is how it looks like on my website builder, which is Framer. Essentially, you have always the head tag right here and the end of head tag. So you can just copy the code in the beginning of the head tag or at the end of the head tag, it doesn't matter. And once you've done that, make sure you publish your website so that the changes are live. All right, now if we go back to Vector, what you're gonna do is that you're gonna click on the new segment right here. You're gonna click on visitors on my site. And then you're gonna click here on the plus and you're gonna click on add a filter step. You're gonna click on page visited. And what it does is that you want to filter the identification of your website visitors. Because for example, us at Breakcold, we have about like 35,000 monthly visits per month, which is a lot. And if you don't want to pay like crazy amount of money and still using this tool for free, you know for sure that some pages will bring you like unqualified leads. And so you want to filter with only URLs that are super valuable. So for example, our pricing page is a super great relevant page because if people are checking our pricing page, they're obviously interested. And so what you're gonna do is that you're gonna put all the URLs of the most relevant pages for your website because you don't want to identify like unqualified leads that just came across your website for no reason or because you wrote a blog post and then you're just gonna lose credits for this. So you just will add a lot of website URLs. And this is how it looks like once you have done for your website. So me, again, I have lots of website traffic. So I just took pretty much like the 100 most qualified pages on my website and I put all those pages right here in page visited. Now, if I go back to the example, so the new segment we've made together, then once you've added all your pages, what you're gonna do is that you're gonna click on add action at the very end. And at the very end, you're gonna select webhook. And then you will have to maybe turn this on. So it's already on my end. And you will have to click on settings. So you go to settings and then you're gonna click on right here on add endpoint. So you click on add endpoint and then it will ask you for an endpoint URL. This is where we will start to utilize our second tool. So the second tool is Freckle. So you go to Google or you click in the link in the description and you type freckle.io. Then you go to Freckle, you create an account, you can start for free, you have free credits. And then from there, you're gonna click on new table. And in new table, you're gonna click on inbound webhooks. And so then you're gonna copy webhook URL and create table. And you go back to Vector, copy paste that webhook URL. And then here in the events you want to subscribe to, you're gonna click on contacts and that's it. Then you scroll down, you don't type of any other things, and then you click on create, and that's it. And once you've clicked on create, first we gonna go back to Freckle to make sure the table is created. So you see here, The table has been created, but there's no data in it. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna click on send events, contact visited, and it generates like an example of data, and we're gonna click on send example. Because right now we don't have data coming in. I have lots of website visits, but maybe not that fast. And you see we have all the data, but it's not very well structured. So we need to structure all of the data. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna add things that interest us in the table. So the first thing that is interesting us is the website page that they visited. So the page title, we're gonna add this one. And so what you're gonna do is that your job is to add all the fields that interest you. So right here is like the page that they visited. Then maybe what's good is like the website URL of the person. So that is the first two things that I like to have here. And then from there, you're gonna add like the first name of the person, the last name of the person. So I'm just gonna do it fast. And from there, you will see how it looks like. All right, so this is how it looks like once you've mapped most of the data. So as you can see, I have the first name, last name, title, company name, LinkedIn URL of the person, and LinkedIn company URL. What you want to do is first, you want to make sure that your new segment is live, because I totally forgot to do this. So I forgot to tell you to do this, but essentially you have to turn like the segment on. So you need to click here to turn this on. I will not do this because it's already running. And so if we go back to Breakcold, why I'm telling you to push all of those data to Breakcold. Here, let me show you my table and how it looks like with much more data. All right guys, so this is how it looks like when you have lots of data. So as you can see, I have many people visiting my website and my different pages. And from there, like they are identified and pushed in Breakcold. But like I told you, I want to use Breakcold for a specific thing. So what we want to do is to qualify the buyer. And so we want to know if the person can be a good fit for our business or not. From there, we want to generate like a tailored email that is related to the page they visited. We also want to generate the subject line using AI. And from there, we also want to find the email address. Otherwise, we won't be able to send them a warm cold email. And from there, we want to push them to another software using Zapier. So how do you do that? Let me show you. So the first thing is to qualify the buyer. I'm gonna copy this prompt, but again, you have all the prompts in the description. If you go back to your table in Breakcold, you're gonna click on new column. You click on new column, and you're gonna copy the prompt here. And you're gonna adapt, so instead of having like breakcold.com, you're gonna put your own website URL so that it's relevant to your website. And from there, you're just gonna type buyer qualified, it's a yes or no, and you click on run first row. And so this is basically how you set this up. I've already done the job for you of thinking about the prompts and how it should work. So you just have to replicate everything. So here we're gonna just copy paste the template that generates the emails. It's adapted to my business, but if you go through it, you just have to replace like my website with your website and to replace the words that are relevant for you. So we're gonna call it cold email body. And so from there, we're gonna do the same for the subject line. So we're gonna copy paste this. All right guys, so now we are able to identify if there's a qualified buyer. We are able to generate the email and then to generate the subject line. And the last thing is to find the email address of the person. For this, it's very simple with Breakcold because you just do a prompt. So you say, find me the valid B2B email address of the person. And just by using natural language, Breakcold will be able to find the email of the person, which is awesome. And then you have a reasoning with which tool they use, but you don't have to think about picking a tool. They will just do it for you, which is pretty cool. And so the problem here is that if we have this, everything here will be run automatically. And the thing is, like, if you look at my own table, you see that I have a lot of yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And when there's a no, it means that the condition is not met and that we won't use credits for it. So we have to do a condition that pretty much says only run if the qualified buyer is yes. So right here, we're gonna go to each of this section here, and on cold email body, we're gonna say only run if / qualified buyer is yes. And you're gonna do this for all three for you. So you're gonna do this for the cold email subject line, the cold email body, qualified buyer is yes. So that way, it will only run if it's a good fit for your business. And you're probably wondering at this point, yeah, but how does it work? Like, Breakcold is it's like such a magic tool. And yes, it is a magic tool because if you click, it gives you the reasoning why it's a qualified buyer for your business. So basically, like Breakcold, the AI will like visit your website, and from there will perform a different set of actions that will make the software understand if it's a qualified buyer for your business or not. Once you have this, like everything will run smoothly. And so the only thing you have to do now is to push those data to a cold emailing software. If you're using like Instantly, it's very easy because you get in just one click, you can send those data to Instantly. But here I'm using Smart Lead, which I prefer. And for this workflow, they don't have a native integration with Smart Lead, and Smart Lead doesn't have a native integration with Zapier. So I'm just gonna do like a workflow where we're gonna do something even smarter by pushing the leads in both a CRM and also in a cold emailing software. And you will understand if you continue the video why it is so powerful. So for this, we're gonna use right here in integrations, we're gonna click on Zapier. So send data. And you see, for Zapier, it asks us for a webhook URL again. And so we're gonna have to go to Zapier. So you go to Zapier, you probably already have an account, and you're gonna click on create a new Zap. And then from there, you're gonna click on on action, and you're gonna click on webhook. And right here, you're gonna click on catch hook. Then you're gonna click on continue, and it's gonna generate you like a webhook URL. So you're gonna copy this, head back to your Breakcold account, and you're gonna copy paste the webhook URL, and then you have to map the payload. So I won't explain too much what is the payload, but long story short, you just have to map the data that you want to push to Zapier. So essentially here, you just have to retype what is here. So like event page, and then you select event page. And so you just do this for every single rows, columns that you have in Breakcold. I'm gonna pause the video and do all of this, and then come back to you. All right guys, so as you can see, I've mapped all the data, so from the first name to like the cold email body, etc. And so what we want to do now is that we want to test the trigger and to make sure it's functioning well. So what you're gonna do here is that you're gonna click on save and run, and you're gonna click on the first row. And so from there, you're gonna click on test trigger, it's working. If you click here, you have all the data that we need, right? So like everything about the lead. And so what we want to do now is to push those informations to like our CRM that will also be pushed at the same time to our cold emailing software. So here I'm gonna use Breakcold, and you're just gonna put like your API key here. So you go to Breakcold, you create an account, and you copy your API key. You go back here and you click on create or update lead. And the good thing about this workflow, so why putting that to a CRM? Because the problem here is that it's very much warm leads. And when you have a CRM, you want to have your warm leads in the CRM. So you don't want to use a CRM for your cold leads. But the thing is, you might send a cold email to that person and not get replies, but you still can use your CRM to then add the person on LinkedIn, to chat with the person on LinkedIn, and to have a strategy to maximize your website visitors so that you can talk to them, with them, and get more sales. So that's why here you're gonna use the CRM. So here I'm gonna just select an account, and here it's pretty straightforward. So what you want to do is just to map the data from Breakcold. So you're just gonna like map the email, the first name, etc. So here you will have to do it step by step. And so what we want to happen is that every single time we have an anonymous visitor, they will be pushed in that section in the sales pipeline. And just by drag and drop to the push to smart lead, they will go in our warm cold emailing sequence. And from there, if they don't have an email, because sometimes like Breakcold will not find an email for them, we will add them to LinkedIn and we're gonna put them in send LinkedIn invite. But the cool thing about this is that depending on what's happening with LinkedIn convos or email convos, then the CRM will update itself and create the task so that you can follow up super easily and just chat with them across email, LinkedIn, and multiple channels. But that's pretty much like the workflow we want to achieve here. However, if you want to do that super correctly, you need to create some custom fields. So the first thing is obviously you have to go to Breakcold. So you're gonna go to Breakcold or click in the link in the description, then create an account. You can start for free. And then you go to the settings, you go to attributes, and you're gonna go to person. And then you want to create attributes that will map like your cold email body, the cold email subject line. That's pretty much about it. And so you want to create an attribute. I already done it for myself, but essentially from there, you're gonna have like the cold email template and the subject line directly inside the lead, because otherwise you will not have data in Zapier to map here. So your first job essentially in the CRM is to first create a list. So I created a list that is called outbound plus inbound visitors. Then step 2 is you create a bunch of like sales pipeline stages. So essentially you can just create 3. Anonymous visitors, push to smart lead because you want to push them to a cold emailing campaign. And then you have send LinkedIn invites, because some of them you will not have their email address because it's impossible to find 100% success rate on email addresses. And so from there, you want to go to LinkedIn and to add them pretty rapidly in one click. And so that's pretty much the workflow. Then let's go back to Zapier for a while. Going back to Zapier, if you do all of that, you're gonna be able to map everything. So again, you map your last name, you map the list. So I'm gonna pick the list, outbound plus inbound visitors. Then I'm gonna click on status, which is the sales pipeline stages. And I'm gonna click on anonymous visitors because it's a stage you created. And then you just map everything, right? So you map the email, templates, you map absolutely everything. And so once you're done with this, it will look like pretty much like this. And then you can just test the Zap. I've already done it, so I will not do this, but basically by clicking on test step, what's gonna happen is that the leads will be pushed here. And you've already done the biggest part of the job because you have the leads in a system where it's structured, you have all the data, and now you just have to exploit the data. So how do you push the lead to Smart Lead then? So first you go to Smart Lead, so you can click on the link in the description, or you go to Smart Lead directly and you go to Smart Lead. Then from there, you're gonna create a new campaign. And in your campaign, you're gonna name it, let's say, Anonymous Visitors 2, because I think I already have one. And then you're gonna go to Sequences and you're gonna click on Save Next. Right now, you just want to have the campaign saved for now. And you need to import the leads in that campaign, right? So you go to the settings of Breakcold, then you go to App Store, then you're gonna go to Smart Lead right here. And what you're gonna do is that you're gonna copy paste your API key in Smart Lead and paste it here. So in Smart Lead, if you go to your settings, you can have like an API key right here. So you're gonna go to, so in your profile, you're gonna scroll down, and I will not show you my API key because I need it, but you have API key right there, and you're gonna copy it, go to Breakcold, select the Smart Lead integration and paste it. And so from there, you can do the automation where, like when the lead arrives in a specific list, in a specific sales pipeline stage, automatically they will be pushed to a Smart Lead campaign. Here you just select your campaign. So you can see I can select Anonymous Visitors 2, but I won't do it because it's already done, right? And I will show you my campaign and how it looks like. And so this is how it looks like once you have leads that are running through the process. Because once you've done that, it's pretty much done. Like the leads arrive in this bucket. If they have an email address, you just drag and drop them to push to Smart Lead. If they don't have an email address, because again, like the software will not find email addresses every single time, you add them on LinkedIn and you push them to send LinkedIn invites. And inside Smart Lead, if you want to automate the cold emails, so this is all the leads that are pushed automatically with the workflow I just showed you. You go to Sequences, and for the subject line, you're just gonna use the variable subject line. So essentially the leads, if you go on your leads right here in the leads list, you're gonna be able, by clicking on them, to see, and so to generate your sequence, it's already done because we use AI for it, right? So when you go to the subject line or when you go to the email body, what you have to do is essentially just click here on insert variables, and then you just have to select the right variable, which in your case will be probably named cold email template or cold email body, and then subject line. And that's pretty much about it, really, because you just have to reuse the variables that have been imported automatically, so you don't even have to think about creating an email sequence. And then you do the setup. I won't go through it because it's pretty straightforward. You just map an email and choose when you want the emails to be sent. And that's it. You have an email now that is automatically generated that identify your anonymous visitors. And now you will be able to contact automatically people depending on the website page that they visited which is absolutely awesome. And it's qualified leads because they visited like your most relevant website pages, which is pretty good. And again, like depending on what's happening, everything will be updated in the CRM. So that along the way, they might move into different lists, different sales pipeline stages, and you will have email or LinkedIn conversations with them. And from there, your only job is to show up on this dashboard in the CRM and just to execute on the follow-ups if you're losing momentum with them. So if they didn't reply to you in the last X days or X weeks, tasks will be created automatically and across different channels, WhatsApp, Telegram, email, pretty much every channel, you're gonna be able to follow up on them. All right, guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Like it, comment it, and subscribe to that YouTube channel for more content like this. And if you want to learn how to never miss a follow-up again, you can click on this video. Cheers, ciao.